the way he fell, the way he fell off the building. They say when someone commits suicide and if they throw themselves off a building, what they do is they sort of protect themselves at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
And in this situation, like you said, Dax, it seems like when he fell, he didn't try to protect himself. Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast, Raw Rundown. My name is Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. We are two entertainment news journalists who've been in the industry for about 2 decades now. I say for about 2 decades. I mean, it is 2 decades now. Actually, over 2 decades we've been doing this, covering everything that goes on in pop culture. No, we are not two social media journalists. No, we are not TikTok journalists who just, what do? They capture their head and just speak about what's going on. It's just some random Us Weekly story. I hate when people are starting to think those people are actual journalists. They're just we're actually calling on people regarding these stories. Plus, we know a lot of journalists, so we're just kind of give you the little insight of what we know, what's going on in the world of pop culture. In the midweek, Dax and I either talk to a guest, sometimes we talk to each other, sometimes we talk to a publicist, a bodyguard, a paparazzi, everyone and everything related to Hollywood culture. On the Fridays, we release our Raw Rundown, which is the top 10 news stories of the week in entertainment news. Entertainment. We love entertainment news, right? We love pop culture. It's so high school to us, right, Dax?
It was funny, right, when you said pop culture, and I thought you were going to say junkies. And then you said journalists. I'm like, yeah, that too. Journalists and junkies. We love this stuff. And I feel like both of us have been like loving it ever since we were young. We've always talked about how growing up we had the, Us Weekly sitting on the coffee tables in our houses, and it just kind of hooked us. And now, it's just ingrained in my brain. I know way too many random facts and knowledge about Hollywood at this point. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, if they made a game show for covering this stuff, I would love to be a host, or I think they are coming out with it. I think Colin Jost is doing like some sort of celebrity Jeopardy of some sorts. But if they did a game show on pop culture, I would love to be the guest, a contestant on one of those shows, because I would love to see how my knowledge does. Now, I know there is some people out there that have as good knowledge as we do. I'm not good at blind items, Dax. You're good at guessing blind items.
I'm a little bit better, I would say, at that. You know what? I have a hard time, though? When people ask me questions, I need like a hot second to think about stuff, because I feel like I have a really deep knowledge of Hollywood, but I don't always recall it quickly. Like we start talking and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that one time, or oh, you remember that. But I'm not one of those people like you ask me and instantly I'm like, yep. I need a second or a re-jog in my memory. That's my problem.
Dax, before we get to the Raw Rundown, I just want to mention, get into something I saw this week. Now,
okay.
What's the girl's name? I always mispronounce her name.
Chappell Roan.
Chappell Roan.
It took me. I know it took me a couple of weeks. I also waded through many feedback, comments on our page about how I kept butchering her name, calling her Chappell, calling her all these. Chappell Roan is how you say her name.
Yeah, I'm just used to seeing her name and saying Chappell, but Chappell Roan, who is a singer who's made a lot of noise in the industry the last couple of months.
She's got some good songs though. Like her songs are good. She's a good artist, but her personality is kind of taking a drag for me. I'm not so into her personality, unfortunately.
Yeah, I want to like her. She does make some good songs. She opened up for Taylor Swift this past summer. She did she made news, some headlines back in August when she called out like entitled fans for requesting photos with her and calling out like weird people and stuff like that. It feels like she's having this weird transition dealing with fame. She doesn't like people asking her for photos. When people on the street are waiting for her, she kind of runs away from cameras and fans, which I get, but I don't get, because if you want to be in the industry, this is part of it. I know it is difficult to kind of transition. However, this is the business. And when you call these people out, it becomes very unlikable. With that said, Universal Studios.
Can I say that one more thing with that? The problem is people fall in love with these artists for their personalities as well, right? Like sometimes that even becomes a bigger thing. Like Jennifer Lawrence, her personality is so like infectious that I think people truly like love her more than just her acting work. And if you have a really kind of crappy personality, people will start to distance themselves, even if you're a fantastic artist. And I remember this happened a lot with Iggy Azalea. Her personality was so like unlikable that people started to not even listen to her music because they're like, I don't like her personally. I can't, keep supporting her. I would warn Chappell about this. Like, you've got great music, you've got a really good fan base, but if you become unlockable and you're talking shit on your fans and you're putting out statements that people find just kind of off-putting, it will hurt your career. So I would encourage her to self-reflect about this while your career is still young and budding.
Especially when you're trying to take advantage of being a celebrity. Now, this past week, Chappell went to Universal Studios, where Universal Studios has a thing. If you're a celebrity, you kind of get your carte blanche of the amusement park. You're allowed to go there, bring your friends, cut the lines, have a great experience at Universal Studios. The only thing you need to do is take a photo at Universal Studios. Let their photographer take a high-def photo of you at this horror night thing, where you and your friends take a photo of this ghost. They're able to send that photo out to press outlets and news outlets about, like, oh, look who came to Universal Studios. That's the trade-off. Now, if you're going to do that and you're going to enjoy that perk of being a celebrity, then you have to enjoy the other side of it. And I'm not saying enjoy it, but you need to do it. But also, I would suggest, like you said, be more likable about it. When you call your fans out, I don't know. That's like, that hurts my stomach.
I think
these are the people supporting you.
Calling fans weird, calling them entitled for requesting photos. Like, again, I know it's none of us can relate to that. We're not celebrities. We are not getting hounded for photos. People aren't asking us. But that is part of the territory. And I think if you start talking poorly on fans, or even if you don't feel like they're true fans, they may be a little creepy, whatever, it's part of the territory. And the people that are super successful in Hollywood are the ones that have been able to navigate that really well. The Oprahs, the Angelina, the Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, like these are the people that have learned to not only embrace the fans, the creepy ones as well, but also the paparazzi, the reporters, everything that comes around with it. Those are the most successful people in Hollywood.
Yeah. And again, maybe she was caught out of context with the wording she used, but, be a little more PR savvy, but also, I don't know, your chance of really making it in that moment, for me personally, being very likable is like, it's an upward battle right now. It's an upward battle for me to kind of really like this girl, because right now there's a bad taste in my mouth. All right, that's just wanted to get that off my chest. Like I said, today is our Raw Rundown. We give you the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories? It goes by Google search. It goes by data. Lastly, it goes a small part by our personal opinions. But like any major news outlet, what they do, if you go to any kind of major news assignment desk, they have a screen and they see what news stories people are clicking on. These stories were the most clicked on stories of the week in the world of entertainment news. Before we get to that, Dax, do you have a review ready for us?
Oh, of course I got a review. I live for reviews, Adam. All right, this one is from Fit and Fab Rocks, U2 Rock. Thank you for being so authentic on your podcast. You tell it like it is. The two of you have great chemistry in your delivery of how you experience your craft. I now reside in Mexico and purposely do not listen or watch to mainstream news outlets. Yet I love to listen to you two. Keep me updated on entertainment, celebrities, and the shows I used to watch. I'm adding on to my review. Adam read it and gave me a shout out. Dax was out. Oh, so maybe that's why this is the first time for me. So it would be great to hear from both of you. Adam, you gave me the biggest laugh when you randomly said you looked like a retired Zumba instructor. I am a Zumba instructor, and that cracked me up. Please continue to keep us informed and entertained. I never miss a podcast. From Mexico, thank you. Hugs, Clara de Mexico. Gracias, abrazos, Clara. Love it. Thank you. I'm sorry that was the first time I had read it, but I appreciate it.
No, I do appreciate that. Like I said, I have the body of a retired Zumba. It's just really weird. It's like just soft, and I don't know what's going on. I gotta start working harder. I don't know. I think just because my age right now, I'm at that point where I gotta really start figuring things out. But I work out, dude. So it's kind of hard. All right, let's get to the top 10 stories of the week, Dex, starting with number 10.
Number 10 is Shawn Mendes. He is actually, it seems like, addressing a bunch of the gay rumors that he has constantly plagued, what is that word? Plagued his career. He has a new song. He has not released the song, but apparently he played it for his fans at a recent concert date. And the song is called The Mountain, and it says, one of the lyrics goes, "Some days I have a change of heart. You can say what you need to say." And he goes, "You can say that I'm too young. You can say that I'm too old. You can say that I like girls or boys, whatever fits your mold." And this is kind of, he's been one of those stars that for years people have been saying, he's gay, he's straight, he's gay. And he normally, I feel like, just shrugs it off, but it seems like in this new song, he is finally saying, okay, whatever fits your mold, just say it at this point. I think there's only been, at least in my recollection, one other time that he really has acknowledged it. I remember it being like a live stream or something where he goes, "No, you guys keep saying this in the comments that I'm gay." He goes, "I'm not gay." And that was it. And then I don't know if he's leaned into it a little more because, hey, it's good for business. Whether you got men, women liking you, that's good for business. So I would assume that after he did that, his people said, "Shawn, don't say anything. To let rumors build. Rumors equal people curious, people leaning into this stuff. Your fans, you get a bigger fan base. Just don't even address it." He's only obviously dated women publicly that as up to this point with Camila Cabello. There was rumors of him with Sabrina Carpenter, and that I guess the rumor was that Taste was about him. Anyway, so this was kind of the first little glimpse that we've heard from him addressing any sort of sexuality.
Smart. I mean, I get it. Shawn, I don't know him personally, based on the interviews I've seen, does come off a little feminine. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's just I think he has more of a feminine energy. I think we all do. Maybe
that sells in music. I mean, look at Prince. Look at you could list off so many huge stars that they kind of did that. You're curious about their sexuality, but that works in music for people. And I would say, yeah, lean into it.
It's a business. Honestly, lean into it. Let people guess. I mean, I don't care what you do. It's sure. Who cares? But at the end of the day, it's good for business. And also, who cares? If anybody wants to speculate, let them speculate. I think
more people talking about you, and the more people are talking about you, the more records you're selling, the more people are showing up to your concerts. Because I think when there are people who they don't ever really say, then the curiosity is there. And then everyone in their mind thinks that they have a chance with you, even though clearly they don't. But that is the perception, and that's why their fandom even grows harder.
Yeah, and listen, perception is the big thing. I think people, regardless of what sexuality, I guess, think they have a chance for him or shot with him. So that makes a little bit, there's more allure there. There's more charm to it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's very unique, and I actually give him a lot of props for not speaking up about it, kind of welcoming those kind of comments. Because again, some people wouldn't react to it too well, but he's kind of welcoming with open arms, and props to him. I'm excited to hear this album. I do like Shawn Mendes. I don't like him. I'm not saying there's wrong with that. I like his music.
Why not, Adam?
I'm not going to make a song.
We don't even know if you're gay or straight at this point, so
I don't know either, Dax. How do you know that? I don't know either these days. I saw the new Maluma video, and I'm like, I don't know, man. No, Maluma, dude, what a guy. That guy shouldn't be a singer. He should just be modeling. No, but listen, I like Shawn Mendes' music. I'm excited to hear his new album. Yeah, all right, Dax, number 9.
Did you see Christina Aguilera this week? Woo! That is one. She put up some photos for Halloween, and it's got a lot of people talking. So she made number 9 on the list because she's showing off her new slim figure in just this skin tight orange Halloween dress after she kind of like brushed off the Ozempic rumors. But she kind of did a little tour for Halloween and showed off her decorations. But her body is crazy because she has gotten a lot of flack over the years because she obviously came into the entertainment industry. She was very slim, young, and then she, had children and all that. And so her body changed throughout the years, but she would get a lot of flack for it. And now she is, tiny, and I think she feels very confident in her body. And that's what, at the end of the day, you want someone to feel confident and happy. And it doesn't seem like she is going to answer any rumors around Ozempic. Someone had asked her and she's like, fuck this. I am not even going to play into these games. I am too old. I am too mature to be answering questions like this, but she absolutely looks beautiful right now.
She looks incredible. She looks so good. Christina Aguilera is so interesting because you don't see her a lot. You don't see photos of her walking around LA. She doesn't go to a lot of events. So when you see her, you remember her. Because I don't know, Dax, I don't know if you're like this, but like you kind of forget about Christina Aguilera a lot. But when she comes out, like, man, remember Christina Aguilera? And she looks incredible. Ozempic or not, I don't care. She looks better than she ever did, in my opinion. I think she's like 44 now. I think it is, Google photos of her. Yeah.
I think it's the confidence. That's what I think can make a woman look so beautiful, is if that confidence is there, you're like, damn girl, looking good. And I think that's what you're seeing in these photos. Anyway, so that's just getting a lot of attention this week. So yeah, go check out our Instagram page and you can see the photos we're talking about.
All right, Dax, number 8.
Number 8, Harvey Weinstein getting diagnosed with cancer, apparently. This is coming from a source close to him. They told CNN that he was diagnosed with bone cancer and that the diagnosis is chronic myeloid leukemia, which is a form of cancer of the bone marrow, and that he is apparently undergoing treatment at Rikers Island in New York. A spokesperson close to Weinstein had declined to comment on the diagnosis, but his attorney apparently did not respond to CNN right away. So they did look into it. CNN basically kind of gave a little more details about this leukemia, and it's a rare type of cancer that forms in the bone marrow before spilling into the blood. It's a slow-growing type of leukemia that can turn acute if not treated quickly and with targeted therapy. He's had a lot of medical issues while behind bars. So I'm not really surprised to hear about this, but I can tell you some people close to him are very, very unhappy about this coming out and him not releasing it, which is kind of weird that, if he's not releasing it, why are we even finding out about it? But someone close to him said, it's both troubling and unacceptable that such a private and confidential health matter have become subject of public disclosure. And so anyway, he's still in behind bars. They're going to do a whole retrial, and with the appeals court overturned his 2020 conviction, which was a big part of the Me Too movement. And so now it's going to start all over again, and we're going to have to go through another court case with him.
My prediction, Dax, is that Harvey Weinstein in this next trial is going to try to say, I'm battling a very, very tough sickness. Let me finish my sentence at home. Yeah, not fit for trial. Let me finish my sentence at home. I think that's he
underwent heart surgery as well while behind bars. So he's a pretty sick old man at this point. But you're right. They may use this to their advantage and say, he's so sick and this is a trial. Like, please just let him sit at home. Let the old sick man do this from home when, sorry, you're an old sick creep. And so this is probably the best place for you to be right now.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting how this plays out. I think it's all building to the attention of this case. But yeah. All right, Dax, number 7.
Number 7, more Angelina Jolie relationship rumors swirling around. I don't know if you had heard, but Angelina Jolie was apparently connected to that British rapper Akala. I believe is how you say his name. They've been kind of rumored to be dating for quite some time. They've shown up to events together. They have been seen at hotels together. There's been a lot of speculation of the two of them, but they are saying that this is not a romance, that this is strictly platonic, that there is a friendship there, and that them being seen at a hotel earlier this week, it was him and his partner were also there, so that it wasn't just Angelina. And I guess they've worked together, but that there is not a relationship, because they were literally spotted, I think, at the Corinthia Hotel in London 2 nights in a row. So that starts to get a lot of people's head turning when you're like, wait a second, if you guys are hanging out at hotels, but he was snuck in the back and then he was snuck back out the back. Here's my thing. If you are truly just friends, why sneak in and out of the hotel, right? Like, at that point, there's no reason for you to be nervous of people seeing you if it's just a friendship. You come in the front door, you go out the front door. That's what friends do. The second that you're sneaking in or out, that's when it gets to be like, there's got to be more to this than a friendship, because there's no need to sneak around.
Yeah, there's no reason to sneak around, be proud of your friendship. I think that just adds to what is actually going on. Me personally, when's the last time you saw Angelina Jolie with someone? It's been a long time. You see her a lot with her children. She seems like a good mom, but you haven't seen her with a partner. I think it's pretty accurate to speculate. Now, they did comment on it saying there's just no truth to it at all, but I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire, in my opinion. And I don't know.
I just think the biggest smoke for me is sneaking around, because I can tell you, if I'm at a hotel and I had a girl that's a friend show up, if she's sneaking in the back door, my wife's gonna be like, well, why the fuck is she sneaking in the back door? Yeah. But if they're walking in the front and we're hanging out, there's nothing to hide here. That to me seems more normal. So I don't know. The seems a little funky. I've loved Angelina Jolie in the past, but I have to say she probably is a nightmare to date or to be in a relationship with. I couldn't imagine. She seems like a whole handful. Watching this divorce unfold, we're going on 8 years of divorce at this point with Brad Pitt, and it is so contentious, and all the allegations between the two of them, her selling half of the winery behind his back. I just tend to think like she is probably a very different person than what we all think on the front, Yeah,
I do. I agree with you, Dax.
There's been a lot of details there that have gotten me to that point, though.
Brad Pitt has not spoke about this relationship, but if he could speak on it, I think it'd be a very. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and listen to what Brad Pitt has to say about the relationship. On the other hand, at
their lawyer's office, be like a fly on the wall at the lawyer's office, because that's going to be where he's like the most honest, or even both of them, because I'm sure Brad. This. Yeah, I'm sure Brad has not been an angel either, and I'm sure he's got his whole closet full of demons. But just to hear what they truly have to say about each other and what they're blaming each other for, and like, it'd be so fascinating.
Yeah, Dax, number 6.
Oh, it is getting super dirty between Cardi B and Offset. This divorce is getting so super, super nasty. She seemed to rail on him this week. It seemed like when they first announced their divorce, it was very cordial. They were still showing up to like birthday parties together, and now all gloves are off. She is sharing some very candid opinions about Offset on Twitter, telling her the father of her kids, that she wishes the worst on this man. So she basically opened up saying that she has never hated someone so much, and encouraged those who are thirsting after Offset to just take him off her hands. So I guess there was a fan who encouraged Cardi to like stop trashing the father of her kids, and she was like, I'm going to double down on this because he is a narcissist. She wrote, I truly hate this dirty ass narcissistic piece of shit, and the family and his friends never check him, and that's why he's going to be a piece of shit person. She went on to clarify she doesn't wish him death, but she suggested that, she wouldn't necessarily mind him getting hurt. She goes, I want him to get hit by a fucking truck. He's a really just dark cloud in anyone's life that he enters. That's a pretty big deal to say you wish he gets hit by a truck.
Yeah.
But it seems, again, we always praise Cardi for not having a filter because it's very entertaining. This one, she might want a filter on. Like, you don't want to say that. You don't want the father of your kids to get hit by a truck. And I realize she doesn't wish death, but nevertheless, it's the father of your kids, Cardi. And maybe we just got her on a really bad moment where she was going off or she was drunk or whatever it is. But this to me seems like maybe not the smartest move for her to say. Because if he does get hit by a truck tomorrow, you know who we're going to blame? Cardi.
Yeah, I would not want to be in a fight with Cardi B. I feel like I think she just has such a loud microphone. And what I mean, like, she does not give a shit. She will just say what she has to say to kind of prove a point, and it's mean and it's vicious. I don't think Offset has a choice. Like, I think I don't care if Cardi B is wrong. She's just so aggressive the way she speaks. I'm like, no. Whatever she says, like, she's right. I don't care. I'm Team Cardi right now. Like, I agree with her, and I don't even know what the truth is.
Yeah, just stop. Don't focus this on me. She was, I don't know if you saw, really pissed that earlier in the week, CPS got called on both of them, and the cops showed up at 11 p.m. at night. Her kids were already in bed and started to question them because there was a tip that the kids were being abused. And they get there and clearly nothing was going on. And Cardi freaked out because she's actually been in the hospital, it seems like, because she's been super sick. So she wasn't home at the time. And she went on Instagram Live and just railed, saying that this is getting pathetic, that people think this is funny. It's not funny. Like, with your stupid pranks, you're hurting my life. Like, this is not a funny thing. We live in a neighborhood that we're the only Black couple in the neighborhood, and you're sending cops to our house to check on our kids. Like, you're fucking with my life now. And she's like, I'm going to find this person. We're going to sue you. I'm going to hire the best private investigator in the country to track your ass down because of the drama that you're causing. She goes, I have never hit my kids. I am such a good parent. I spend more on my kids than I do on myself. She goes, between the private school, between the nanny, she goes, I spend more on that than clothes. So, like, for you guys to be making it out like I'm a bad parent, now you're fucking with me as a person, as a mother. And she's like, this is not cool. So anyway, so a little attention focused away from Offset for 1 second. And for people that thought, that maybe this was Offset doing it, Offset was also checked on by CPS. So clearly he was not on the other side of this prank.
Yeah, that's a sad prank. I don't like those pranks. Not cool. Waste the tax dollar, and it's just not fun. It's not funny. I wonder if it's kids or if it's adults doing it. It's a very weird thing. All right, but we see it happen a lot. Moving on to number 5.
Ariana Grande talking about this whole big AI controversy that has kind of plagued the Wicked cast over the last couple days. Cynthia Erivo, who is obviously Ariana Grande's co-star in the new Wicked movie, was very unhappy. They released, the Wicked promo poster, and people have gone in and they've used AI or Photoshop, and basically they took down the brim of the witch's hat and covered Cynthia's eyes. And Cynthia felt very disrespected. She's like, look, for you to take away my identity, who I am, by covering my eyes, she's like, that is an insult. That's an insult to me. That's an insult to the character. That's an insult to everything that I have created in my life to basically cover up who I am. And this fan art is unacceptable. And Ariana said, she finds AI very troublesome because you never know what's really real at this point. Things change so much. Adam, I don't know if you saw it. I did look up this AI generated poster or fan edit. And what I deducted out of it is someone was turning the movie poster to look more like the Wicked Broadway poster, because that's what it really looks like. The Wicked Broadway poster, the eyes are covered. They changed the lip color from Cynthia's lips from green to red, which is also on the Broadway poster. So in my opinion, I don't know if the person necessarily had bad intentions. They weren't trying to cover up her eyes to take away her identity. What I think they were doing was fan art to look like the Wicked poster, and maybe they just didn't realize that that would be so disrespectful to Cynthia.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can understand what people feel upset for, but I don't think there was bad intention behind it. It's just they're trying to put their own flair on the Wicked poster. So
and you had a lot of fans like with both sides, like them feeling, if she's upset, I'm upset. And then you had a lot of other people going, chill out, Cynthia. It's all good. Like, this is fan art. You're taking this way too far. It's not this big of a deal. You're not being erased from the movie. They covered up your eyes. Like, it's all good. So you had both sides of the coin here.
I will say this, Dax, and this is sort of regarding this story and sort of not, but news outlets are stopping. Actually, they're going to try to slowly stop doing those stories where fans are outraged about this. And news outlets have been, entertainment news outlets especially, have been so hurting for content that they'll make stories out of nothing. All those Us Weeklies, all those magazines, they'll make stories out of nothing. Fans are outraged over Ariana Grande's performance on Saturday Night Live, and it's like, what? Because you saw 7 people talk smack on Twitter or X, and then say fans are outraged. It's so for a while, journalists were getting away with stories of doing that to cover their own ass because they didn't have content. But now news outlets have realized these stories are stupid and we're paying for them. We're paying people to write them, and it's just useless. Just like I think it was The Sun just cut like 80% of their staff, and they're going to stop doing those type of stories. So, all right. What number are we on now? 4?
I'm outraged with them, getting rid of all these outrage stories personally.
I'm outraged with everyone's outraged. It's election season. That's what we're supposed to have is outrage. And that's actually affecting a lot of the news stories right now. I think a lot of people are focusing on the election rather than pop culture stories. It's just, again, we chase clicks. That's all it is. It's all business. Dax, number 4?
Number 4, Brianna Chicken Fry says she was blindsided by Zach Bryan's announcement. So she, by the way, her real name's not Chicken Fry. That's her character name for Barstool. It's Brianna LaPaglia is her birth name. They were dating for the last year. They made a very public relationship. They showed up to award shows together. They were at the Grammys
she went with
together.
him to Grammys. Yeah, she was by his side at all times. They went to she was on tour with him. I think they had a dog together. I mean, they
moved into a house together. Like, they were pretty serious ass couple. And then he went on to social media this week and basically announced saying, Brianna and me have broken up with each other, and I respect and I love her forever with every ounce of my heart. She has loved me unconditionally for a very long time, and for that, I will always thank her. He continued, I've had an incredibly hard year personally and struggled through some pretty severe things. I thought it would be beneficial for both of us to go our different ways. I am not perfect and I never will be. And then asked for his followers to basically give privacy and space to Brianna. And she apparently did not know about this. She did a video, and I think she posted on YouTube. I don't know. I saw it embedded somewhere else. She did a video where she was just crying. She goes, I have been crying for days, and we break up. And he goes out and announces it without even giving me a text, with no heads up, nothing that the world was going to know about what was happening between us. She goes, that would have been a really nice thing to do, is to let me know before you let the world. So she just feels like she was completely blindsided by his announcement, which I can understand. If you've had a public relationship, it would be nice to know when it's going to be a public announcement of your separation as well.
Yeah, I mean, with that said, totally understand how Brianna feels. And not saying Zach did the right thing here, but I understand Zach's angle. And I say this weirdly enough, where he's so new to this, he doesn't even realize that you probably need to even have that conversation before you announce it to the world. For him, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to say it. He didn't really think of it. Now, again, that means he didn't think about her. I'm not saying what he did was right, but to me, this was Zach's like first ever real public relationship. I mean, Brianna has a huge fan base on social media. She's big in with the Barstool audience. She has her own audience, and she's doing really, really well. I don't think he even realized that he had to kind of say, hey, we're going to make a public announcement, correct?
No, because that's being a human being.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I just think he just didn't even realize how these things work, especially in the public eye and perception.
Well,
I don't
know if he is. I'm wondering if this was almost a calculated move, because I don't know if you saw this. He released a new song. And literally right after, within 24 hours, he then announces, hey, by the way, I've got a new project I'm working on. You should really check out my new song. And people are like, what? It hasn't been 24 hours and you're now, oh, screw the breakup news. Check out my new song. So maybe this was a way for him to release the song and get some press behind it, because I'm clearly talking about it. So that seems like it might have worked.
Yeah, he also, is reportedly been already on a dating site. He's on Raya, which is the celebrity, the influencer, more private dating site. And people saw him on Raya already and kind of screenshotted his shots. I think one person even screenshotted his conversation with another person saying, hey, can you keep this between us? So I guess the question is, how long should you wait until you're able to move on and do that? I mean, my personal feeling is Zach is a huge star, and the guy wants to sort of now have fun and embrace and check out the freedom and the perks of being a star. He's only been famous for a couple of years now. We're starting to see, I think even he's starting to realize how big he is. I mean, we talked about Chappell Roan, like his world has changed too. So I think there's a transition for him to realize that stuff, the things you should do as a celebrity and things you should do as a person. So I'm not defending him. I'm just sort of like understanding what he did. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. I think you got to give the person who has been by your side for the last year,
100%,
that you literally lived with, that you've shared a dog with, give her a fucking heads up that you're going to post about this. It's pretty fucked up. And if you're already on a dating site, like that's not cool either.
Yeah,
again,
how long is he supposed to wait, though?
Dude, I'm not saying that there is a definite time frame, but you are a public celebrity, and so those moves that you make, you have to also anticipate that it will get out there. People will talk about it. We've seen, Ben Affleck on Raya. We've people that are on Raya. It doesn't mean you're immune to it going public, even though it's a private dating app. A lot of those people get exposed for being on there. It just seems like that is a quick move on. And you have to think about that when you are a celebrity. You have to think about your public persona and what could happen if this information does get out. I will tell you, the one thing I've realized through this entire story is that I would not have recognized Zach Bryan if you walked past me at a grocery store. I feel like I know what people look like. For him, he is just such like a basic white guy that I don't think I would have recognized him at all.
He looks like pretty much every single guy I went to high school with.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Like every dude on the football team. I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's Zach or Corey or Joe. Like that is Zach Bryan. He's so basic.
Yeah. Again, I want people, I'm not defending him. I just think he needs to do a better job. I'm not defending him.
Adam is Zach Bryan's number one fan and defender.
7. But 7th fan, number 2 defender. His parents.
Good luck on the private Facebook group, guys. Make sure you leave all your hate mail for Adam on the private Facebook group. It's called Off the Record. You can find it by going to HollywoodRaw.com. Click on the link and leave some hate.
Leave some hate for me, but just know I agree with you, Dax. He needs to do a better job. I just don't think he even realized that what he was. I don't think he wasn't PR trained, and I think PR training is a big. We're kind of in our blood. He's not PR trained. He needs to be PR trained. All right, Dex, what number are we on? 3?
We are number 2.
Number 2. Sorry, number 2.
Number 2, Nicole Kidman saying that she had to pause filming of her latest movie because she didn't want to orgasm anymore, and literally that's what it comes down to. So she's she filmed a new movie called Baby Girl, and this whole movie is this like seductive movie where a powerful businesswoman risks her career and her family life to have a passionate affair with a much younger intern, and played by Harrison Dixon, who is 28. She's 57. I did watch the trailer for the movie. It looks pretty steamy. It looks pretty interesting. But I guess there were so many sex scenes and so much like riling up that it gets awkward filming this crap in front of other people, that he would get near and she'd be like, just get away from me because I can't do this right now. And imagine, like, think about having to film a lot of sex scenes over and over and over again. And when you film these movies, it is, you forget that there are 30 people standing around watching you. So imagine 30 people watching you fake an orgasm or being half naked, or just how awkward that truly has to be. And when you're doing it in a movie where the whole movie's centered around sex scenes, God, that has to be awkward. And I think about that a lot with like the 50 Shades of Grey movies. That whole thing was just gnarly sex scene after gnarly sex scene. That's not easy to film.
Yeah, but also this story especially, it's such a great headline that gets people to click on. So the PR company behind this movie had to be pushing this narrative out there because it's such a great way to promote the movie. I had no idea there was a movie coming out about this, but that story, people were clicking on. Nicole.
Well, you know why?
Nicole came into orgasm.
It makes you want to watch the movie. It is a brilliant marketing move. Nicole Kidman doesn't want to orgasm anymore. Like, there's been too many in this movie. Like, you're like, okay, well, I need to see this. Like, what is this movie? And it got me to watch the trailer. It got me interested in the movie. Kudos to the orgasm story.
It's so funny, and I hope people realize what a business this is. How great show business is. Dax, do you know Michelin tires? I'm sorry, the Michelin stars. Do you know how that is? Michelin.
Are you talking about the restaurant, the Michelin star restaurants?
Yeah, Michelin star restaurants. Do you know how they got that? How that became popular, and what the story behind that?
Yeah, well, I know it's from the Michelin tires brand,
and they just put out their own reviews. But yet again, it worked out well. Like, it's so weird how these things work, and it's such a business that people don't realize. That people, I don't know. I just think it's so. When you hear good marketing campaigns, they really work well. We saw this past week, Goldfish.
I was going to say, we get excited for good marketing campaigns because it's so hard to get this like organic traffic in Hollywood at this point. Like, we've seen everything. People have pulled every move in the book and done the setups and done all that. So when there is a good one that lands, I love it. Yeah,
I don't know if you saw, there's a marketing campaign. This is not entertainment news driven, but like Goldfish, like the goldfish you eat, you see the supermarket, they want to appeal to adults more. So they're going to go by like Chilean sea bass. It's like cheddar Chilean sea bass stuff to kind of appeal. I don't know. It's kind of funny that they're going to change the name of it a little bit to appeal to adults. So it's just like fun stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's good. That's good. And props to Nicole Kidman for playing into this. You know what? Were you a fan of Eyes Wide Shut?
I was young when that came out, so yeah. I honestly, I don't even know if I watched it or just remember it being such a big deal because she was married to Tom Cruise at the time, and it was like this big sex thriller and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a good movie. I mean, I maybe you just watched that 15-minute part with the masks, when they went to that party, which is just like, what is going on? But I mean, Dax, it probably doesn't hit you because you go to parties like that every Friday night. So,
my Diddy parties that I'm hanging out with, my freak offs.
Yeah, Dax, P. Diddy has freak off parties. Dax spends his Shabbat with parties with everyone wearing masks. So that's how he does it. All right, Dax, the number one story of the week.
Number one story of the week, Liam Payne. Obviously, this One Direction death is taking over the headlines. We've talked about it numerous times since last week. We've given you all the details. throughout the week with the pink cocaine that the partial autopsy report says that he had in his body. Well, the police have now raided that Buenos Aires hotel. They're seizing electronics, documents, all kinds of stuff. So they're definitely moving full steam ahead with the death investigation, but really it being centered around this potential employee of the hotel that could have potentially supplied him with drugs, and it looks like they went into the Casa Sur Palermo hotel on Wednesday. They reviewed electronics, paper records following obviously his death, where he fell from the third story balcony from his room to the courtyard. Sources say that the initial autopsy results that he had the pink cocaine in the system, which we kind of talked about that on Wednesday, which is a dangerous cocktail of various drugs, meth, ecstasy, ketamine, and other narcotics. Well, it seems that the police examined the information contained in the folders on the laptops with the hotel employees to determine who sold him the drugs. They seized documentation, film records, videos from the hotel's underground area. So it seems like they believe that maybe this drug deal was on tape, and they're really just focused on this employee who may have sold it to him. I can tell you one other thing that came out throughout a lot of this information this week. Investigators believe that he fell to his death in a state of semi or total unconsciousness because of the position his body was found in, showing that he did not even try to protect himself. And we know that his dad, Jeff, is helping police flying from the UK to Buenos Aires to join the investigation. So we saw him there, and it seemed like he had gone home. Maybe he's now coming back and really trying to figure out what exactly happened with his son. But, that would almost make more sense to me. I know that we've talked about his mental state, that he has acknowledged that he has had some mental health issues. He's dealt with suicidal thoughts. He's brought it up in the past. So kind of that's where your mind goes to. But it would be very interesting if he was just so drugged up that he fell accidentally from, that balcony, just being unconscious.
Yeah. Two things to point out. Number one, the hotel employee who they're investigating has not been arrested yet, but they sort of narrowed this person down and sort of they're on. It's such a weird thing because hey, we really think you gave him drugs, but they haven't arrested him yet. So it's gotta be a weird thing for that guy to walk around, and I'm sure this guy's getting followed wherever he goes. The other part is, and this part gets pretty graphic, the way he fell, the way he fell off the building. They say when someone commits suicide and if they throw themselves off a building, what they do is they sort of protect themselves at the last second. Mm-hmm. And in this situation, like you said, Dax, it seems like when he fell, he didn't try to protect himself. So like you said, he probably was in a different reality. He was subconsciously not there.
It is weird how... So, think about all the details that we've heard so far, where he was down in the lobby, he was smashing his laptop, he was out of control, and they had to carry him up to the room, and that they called the police and they said, hey, you need to get here. There's a guy that's, completely drunk on drugs and alcohol. You need to get over here. The cops couldn't even get there because they said, oh, he was out of his mind, high on drugs and alcohol. He's got a balcony. We're worried that he could fall off. And then they call the cops. Cops then get there and he's already gone. I'm like, how did you call that? If he was that out of control and why did you think he was going to fall off the balcony? And then he's already off the balcony before the cops get there. A little weird, right?
It's very weird. I had to actually give some props a little bit to the Argentinian police. And because again, we're in America here and we know how they work in America, but in Argentina and another country, we don't know how these investigators work, but they have been very proactive on this case. I mean, they even swarmed the hotel today to kind of see if anything's going on, anything suspicious is going on in the hotel. So I don't know. I had to say thank you to the Argentinian police to really kind of put some energy onto the story because also I think Argentina this is such an international story that Argentina doesn't look great in this, that there's this kind of stuff going on. And granted, there's drug issues like this in every single country. It's not just Argentina, but I think they've been very good as far as
they know
proactive.
there's a lot of focus on this around the world. And, you know, I had a lot of people telling me like, I want to know more about this like pink cocaine. And I did a little research, and I can tell you that the potential side effects of this quote unquote pink cocaine can vary, that they can include anxiety, hallucination, nausea, vomiting, increased heart rate, blood pressure, elevated body temperature, physical and sexual assaults, as well as traumatic injuries have occurred when people are impaired by the drug. So this is a very, very serious drug that he apparently had in his system. Again, I still find it weird that they already got autopsy results, considering there's never once in the last 20 years of my reporting that they get autopsy results within 4 to 5 days. Like, this has always been something that takes weeks to get any kind of toxicology.
Yeah. So. But I'm sure we'll have more to report next week on the Raw Rundown. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on Red Coral Universe, thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you for listening to us on the Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to the podcast. Thank you. Please leave a review. It's the best thing you do to support this podcast. Follow our private Facebook group called Off the Record. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.